Royal Woke, Michigan. This is Bobby Hesley, your friend from the Woodward Dream Cruise on Saturday, or should I call it the Woodward Nightmare Cruise, which is what I turned it into. I wanted to do a quick follow-up video about what happened, what transpired on 11 Mile in Woodward this past Saturday, August 15th, at the annual Woodward Dream Cruise, which will now be branded the Woodward Nightmare Cruise, hosted live in Royal Woke, one of the most liberal suburb cities in the state of Michigan. So what happened? What got into Bobby Hesley to where I would show up and torment these white people for 18 straight minutes that are standing on the corner holding up their Black Lives Matter signs? What in the world got into me? I don't have any plans anytime soon to let my mom see that video. So let me kind of start from the beginning. I was headed out to the Keeping Up with the Chaldeans first ever annual Cookout Fest. I was honored to be one of their judges, which was awesome. And I wanted to get my car washed, you know, and I'm a member of the Jack's Car Wash that's on 11 Mile in Woodward. I've got their unlimited membership. It's like, I don't know, $37 a month. And the thing is, I mean, if I'm going to spend 40 bucks a month, I'm going to get my money's worth. So I wanted to get my car washed. So I pull in, I'm getting my car washed. But as I pull into the Jack's Car Wash on 11 Mile in Woodward, I look across at I think it's a Presbyterian church that's literally right on the corner of 11 Mile in Woodward in Royal Woke. Let's get that hashtag going, guys. Royal Woke, Michigan. Let's make that city famous for its wokeness that I see when I walk up and down 12 Mile. I see all these crazy signs, all these Black Lives Matter signs on these $300,000-$400,000 houses. But anyway, so I look across and I see all these Black Lives Matter people, and my wheels started turning. And I literally sat in my car. It took about 5 minutes to sit in line at the car wash. I was waiting for my car wash. And the whole time, I'm going back and forth because I'm pretty angered by what I saw. And I'm thinking, I got to do something about this. I'm one of those guys who has what I call a hungry conscience, okay? My conscience, the conscience of Bobby Hesley, has a very voracious appetite. And what I mean by that is, my conscience eats me alive sometimes until I take action that it is prompting me to take. And if I would have just sat idly by and just let those virtue signaling, communist, Marxist, hypocritical, hippie leftovers who like to give service to Black Lives Mattering, if I would have just let them get away with that and get their dopamine hits so that on Monday morning they can brag to their coworkers that they're, hey Molly, you know what we did Saturday? We stood on the corner of 11 Mile in Woodward and hold up Black Lives Matter signs. See how woke we are? I couldn't let that happen. I had to do something about it. So I walked across the street. Now, normally, anybody who knows me, anybody who knows Bobby Hesley, if you look on my Facebook page, I am the king of dialogue. I love to dialogue with people. I really do. I'm a Catholic apologist at heart. I'm an evangelist at heart. And I like to dialogue with people. I like to help people try to come to a better understanding of their positions. And maybe once in a while, they help me come to a better understanding of my position. I'm all about dialogue, and most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, I'm in dialogue mode, okay? Most of the time. But every once in a while, there's that little 1% situation where, you know what? This situation does not call for me to be in dialogue mode where I'm holding kid gloves and I'm being nice. I had to go into what I call exposure mode. I wanted to expose these virtue signaling, out of touch hippie leftovers. I wanted the entire world to see what this white privilege that they evidently lose sleep over. They have insomnia because their white guilt keeps them up at night over their supposed white privilege. But I wanted them to see, and I wanted the world to see, that at the end of the day, they love their white privilege, which exists in their own minds, because I don't believe in white privilege. I'll do a whole separate video on what I believe is the difference between white privilege, which is a fiction of the liberal imagination, and American privilege, which we should all be striving for, which I personally enjoy myself as a black man. I love my American privilege. I do. And I don't apologize for it, and neither should you. You should never, ever apologize for living in the greatest country in the history of the world. Is the United States of America perfect? Absolutely not. We slaughter our unborn babies since 1973. We got a lot of work to do as a country. But I don't want to live anywhere else. That's why we have an illegal immigration problem, because all of those other oppressed people around the world know that the United States of America is the last bastion for freedom. If there is no United States of America, the whole world is going to fall into communism. Everybody knows that. Even these liberals know that. But I digress. The reason why I got so angry that Saturday morning, why I was shouting at the top of my lungs, I had a sore throat the rest of the day. I'm at this Chaldean get-together, and I had a kind of a squeaky kind of voice. I kind of lost my voice that day. And finding my voice, I lost my voice. But the reason I was so angered by what I saw on the corner of 11 Mile and Woodward in Royal Woke, Michigan, is because when black men are murdered, whether it's by a police officer, like in the case of George Floyd, I still believe that that Officer Chauvin's knee on Floyd's neck contributed to his death. He might be tried for manslaughter. They may not get him on murder. They may get him on manslaughter. But I feel like he was murdered. When I see the black-on-black violence rate, when I see our race exterminate each other, when we kill each other with all this violence, that's traumatic to me. I hate seeing that. And most of you watching this video hate seeing that. But for those kinds of woke white warriors that were standing on the corner of 11 Mile and Woodward and Royal Woke, it doesn't traumatize them. You know what it does to them? It gives them dopamine hits. It actually gets them off of their butts, and it interrupts their what they call their boring suburban lives. It gives them a chance to self-actualize off of the death of black men. And that's what I hate about it. Because with the Black Lives Matter movement, whether it's the Marxist organization or whether it's even the slogan hashtag, because I don't believe that you should support either. I don't agree with the phrase Black Lives Matter. Obviously, it's a self-evident phrase, but it's also a black supremacy phrase when you say that Black Lives Matter, because they're not talking about all black lives. They're only talking about the black lives that fit into their narrow narrative of the less than 1% occurrences of black men being killed by white cops. That's what they mean. They ought to be honest and change it to hashtag black men who are killed by white cops lives matter, because that's what they mean. Black babies don't matter. Black kids that are killed by gang violence don't matter. Black inner city residents that are killed by other blacks in that vicinity don't matter to them. Otherwise, they would go where the bodies are, like I said in that video. But to organizations like Black Lives Matter, and to people that parade around that slogan, that hashtag of Black Lives Matter, to those people, a good black man is a dead black man. Like the old racists used to say, a good N-word is a dead N-word. Why? Because a dead black man gives a certain segment of the American population an opportunity to either make a lot of money. Over $1.6 billion has been raised off of the death of George Floyd. They haven't sent a dime to the Floyd family. They didn't pay for his 3 funerals. They didn't pay for that golden casket. They didn't pay for the horse carriage that trotted him through the streets of Texas. They're not sending money to George Floyd's kids. Kanye West had to donate money to George Floyd's daughter. They're not sending money to any of these black victims that they allegedly claim to care about. And they made over $1.6 billion. And by the way, they are not a 501c3 organization. They are an LLC. They are a for-profit corporation. And they are raking in the money. The people who say that Black Lives Matter, a good black man is a dead black man to them too. Why? Because it gives them the opportunity to create some self-actualization, to feel good about themselves. So for all you virtue signaling woke white warriors that were standing on the corner of 11 Mile and Woodward in Royal Woke, Michigan, you got what you wanted Saturday. I was there for 18 minutes and I watched the look on all your faces, even though I had my sunglasses on, even though I was shouting at the top of my lungs. I was watching the looks on all of your faces when you were ignoring me, when you were turning your backs to me, And the few times I did see your face, you had ear-to-ear smiles on your faces. Why? Because all those people that were driving down Woodward for the Woodward Dream Cruise were honking at you guys and giving you the acknowledgement, giving you the kudos, giving you the attaboys and the attagirls and the pats on the back and the validation that you were looking for. That's why you were out there Saturday. You weren't out there to stand up for black men. Because like I said, if you were, you would be where the black bodies are being piled up. Mountains of black bodies and rivers of black blood are flowing through the inner cities. And you don't set foot there. Because you know that these black lives that you act like matter to you, black people, our lives don't even matter to us. We're killing each other. Blacks have a very low value of life for the most part. I don't want to paint a broad brush joke and say all blacks are like that, but a large segment of the black population does not value human life. They don't value the lives of their unborn babies. They don't value the lives of their fellow neighbors who they kill, who they rob and kill over shoes, or kill because they looked at them wrong, or kill because they want to, for whatever reason they kill. If they don't value black lives, do you really think they're going to value your white life? If you guys would have gone to the hood, you'd have gotten robbed and probably killed, and you know it. So if black lives matter to you, don't stand on the corner. That ain't going to get anything done. What did you get accomplished on Saturday other than getting a bunch of people honking at you? Yeah, meep, 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 Black Lives Matter, yeah, meep, meep. What did that do? How many black kids did that save? Did that increase the black literacy rate? Did that put black fathers back in the nuclear home? Did that plummet the black abortion rate? Did that plummet the black on violence rate? Or did every time you get one of your little meep meeps, did that give you your little dopamine hit? Absolutely it did, because I saw the looks on your faces. When people would shout at you, when people would say, yeah, woohoo, honk, honk, meep, meep, you guys loved it. And you guys actually used the traffic on Woodward as a distraction from me. I know how to read human body language. I've done sales for 20 years. I know how to read people. I was reading you guys while I was also tearing you apart. And every time some of those people honked at you, every little meep meep you got, you had a smile on your face because you were at war with yourself. My words that were coming out of my mouth were penetrating you. They were cutting you to the core. They were shredding you apart inside. They were pricking your conscience. And every time you got a honk, every time you got a little woke meep meep, it helped you cope with the guilt and the cognitive dissonance that I was creating inside of you. So you got what you wanted Saturday because your friend Bobby Hesley just made you Facebook famous. The video is exploding. It's going viral. It'll probably get to 1 million hits probably by the end of the week at the rate it's going. So you got what you wanted. It may not have come the way you expected though. And it's a good thing you guys were wearing your masks because you got a little anonymity going. So that way if people see you, they're not going to say, hey, you're those woke white warriors that Bobby Hesley tore apart on 11 Mile and Woodward. So thanks to COVID, you know, your anonymity was protected. But if you're going to be out in public, in a public space, I have a right to film you. I have a right to put you on camera. And I was actually being filmed towards the end. There was a gentleman who was sitting on a bike and he sat for about 5 minutes and I think he was listening to me. And when I looked, he pulled out his camera and he was filming me. Not that I cared. You know, that's a risk I take. I was out in public. If I'm filming them, I got to be willing to be filmed too. I don't care. I hope he films me and I hope he sends it to all his white friends. So in closing, I don't hate those people. I was very angry at them, but it was righteous anger. Because as St. Thomas Aquinas says, the root of all the emotions is love. The root of anger is love, because the thing that you love, you feel is being threatened, and you fight for the thing that you love. And I know that a lot of my own black people probably don't believe this, but I love my people. I was out there for you. When I was out there on 11 Mile and Woodward, making a fool of myself, literally spitting truth, I went back and watched the video. I said, shoot, I had spit on my face. You know, I was spitting, literally. I was spitting fire and spitting truth and spitting spit. I had a little spit on my beard, but I didn't care. I was a fool for Christ, and I became a fool for you. I was speaking up for you, my black people, because I do love you and I do care about you and I do what's best for you. And for those of you who have woke white friends who like to virtue signal, who like to get intellectually stimulated off of the death of black men, like those people on 11 Mile and Woodward doing Royal Woke, I have a set of questions for you. And it's the same questions I asked those people on the corner this past Saturday. How many black kids are you helping out? If Black Lives Matter to you, put the signs down, put the hashtags down, get off social media, quit being a keyboard activist, and think about these questions. How many black kids do you help on the regular basis? And the reason why I'm only focusing on black kids and not white kids or Hispanic kids or Asian kids or whatever other kind of race of kids you think is because I ain't the one who's only focusing on black lives. They're the ones who's saying Black Lives Matter, not me. Obviously, black lives do matter. That's self-evident. But they're the ones who are cramming that hashtag down our throat. They've been doing it since 2012 with the death of Trayvon Martin. So if they're going to be out shouting how Black Lives Matter, how much they matter, I'm going to call them out on it. So that's why I'm not talking about white kids or Asian kids or all the other kind of kids. I'm only talking about black kids because that's the only people they're talking about. I am trying to combat that aspect of it. So how many black kids do you feed on the regular? How many GoFundMe campaigns are you have right now on social media? Forget about the hashtags. Forget about sharing your Occupy Democrats videos and all the other little SJW stuff you like to share. Are you using social media to raise money for black kids to go to college? How many GoFundMe campaigns do you have going right now for the mothers of these black kids that are being killed to help cover the funeral costs? How many GoFundMe campaigns do you have to send black kids to college so they can get out of the hood and make something for themselves? How many black kids have you given your cell phone number to? Your 248 Oakland County cell number, or your 586 Macomb County area code cell number, or your 734 Wayne County cell phone number. And when I say Wayne County, I'm not talking about Detroit or Highland Park. I'm talking about the good parts of Wayne County. Your Livonias, your Milfords. That's what I'm talking about. Even your 313 Wayne County number, as in Grosse Pointe, where all of you live. How many black kids have your cell phone number to where they can text you if they need advice, if they need guidance about how to better themselves, how to get the American dream that you currently enjoy, and that obviously keeps you up at night because you have white guilt for having? How many black people are you helping? How much do black lives really matter to you? That's what I want to know. Do they matter enough to you to get off the corner, to put your signs down, to put your little social media hashtags down, and actually take some real world action, some real world solutions that will have a direct and immediate impact on these black lives that you claim to matter so much for you? Stop being a keyboard activist and start doing something. Start putting your money where your mouth is. And show us, prove to us how much black lives matter to you. So I will see you on the next video. God bless.